Philadelphia Sports Talk.
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into Unfiltered. And Ricky Bo, I am man enough to admit when I am dead wrong. And I have been dead wrong about this 76ers basketball team, because never in a million years did I expect them to not only force a game 6, but then to come out like they did last night and force a game 7. And I got to tell you, I hope I don't jinx anything by switching up here. But as I sit here right now and I watch the way this Sixers team has played, with the energy, with the defense, with their ability to shut down Boston from beyond the arc, I'm starting to feel pretty good about this Sixers team headed into tomorrow night's Game 7, do or die. Ricky, how are you, my man?
You should. I think the problem is we looked at this team as severe underdogs going into this series. You didn't really, at the beginning of the series, didn't really expect Joel Embiid to be in there. And then you had the worry when he did get in there that, okay, what is this team going to look like? And his first game back, it was not perfect. It wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination. But when you look at this series as a whole right now, I mean, they're not just beating the Celtics, they're outplaying the Celtics. And I think everybody knows the Celtics are going to bomb up threes. That's what they do. Day in, day out, they bomb up threes. I think, number one, Kelly Oubre has done a great job defensively, along with Paul George defensively. You look at what these two have done to Tatum and Brown. That's been a big part of this story. And I know people will look at, well, Maxey had a great game last night. Yeah, he did. But you know what? It's always the guys that have to do the little things sometimes that you should really take a bigger view on. And I think Paul George was outstanding on both ends of the floor last night. That may have been the X factor in last night's game. But looking at both of these teams, and I'll say it because I know you don't want to, the Sixers are a better team right now, period.
It's hard to disagree, man. And you're spot on with everything that you're saying. Like, Maxey last night drops 30. Joel has close to a triple-double. But it's really what they're doing defensively, and Oubre, Paul George. Paul George, turned back the clock over the last 2 games. And everything this team has done, it is making me believe. They do look like the better team right now. Now, listen, the Celtics, they weren't hitting their shots from beyond the arc. They were, once again, they're under, 30% last night from 3. They shot 29%. They only took, only 41, because we know they would love to put up even more threes than that. But the Sixers are doing their job. And I have been extremely critical, not only of the Sixers team itself, but of Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, you got to give him credit. Him and his staff have made the adjustments defensively. That's how this team's winning. Look, Joel Embiid last night, he didn't have a phenomenal game offensively. He has 19 points, but he does chip in with 10 boards. The Sixers actually out-rebounded the Celtics last night.
Embiid had 8 assists.
Yeah, he almost had the triple-double.
You don't always have to be the scorer. I mean, you had plenty. Last night was the first time you could say they had plenty of scoring. I mean, when you look at the 5 guys that were in there, I mean, all of them in double digits, I think that says a lot in itself. Oubre chipped in nicely offensively. Paul George probably had one of his better games as a Sixer last night. So, you don't necessarily need Embiid to score 40 points. As long as he's out there, he's a factor on the floor.
Yeah, you know what else was nice last night, too? They protected the ball, the Sixers.
Yep.
They only had 10 turnovers. You look at Maxey's game last night. I mean, this is some elite company right here. He drops 30 points and 5 assists, but no turnovers from Maxey. That is the first Sixer in a postseason game to have 30, 5, and 0 turnovers since the Doc did it in 1982. I mean, that's what we're talking about right now. And now here we are with a monster Game 7 tomorrow night. Now, the schedule makers, they didn't do the city of Philadelphia any favors. You got Game 7 at 7:30 for the Sixers, and then last night, 1 o'clock in the morning, they announced the Flyers Game 1 against the Hurricanes is also Saturday night at 8 o'clock. So it's going to be a 2-screen night, but it's a do-or-die game for your Sixers. But before we even turn our focus to tomorrow, Ricky, let's relive last night one of the most beautiful sequences I have seen come from the 76ers in quite some time. It was, you get the behind-the-back pass from Joel. Then they go up the court, a block by Oubre. They come the other way, a behind-the-back pass from Paul George. And this is what it sounded like right here on 97.5 The Fanatic with the one and only Tom McGinnis.
Embiid on the back now. Tatum comes to double on the back, and Oubre gets a jam. What a dish by Embiid. A behind-the-back bounce pass. Kelly Oubre from the right baseline gathered it and then dunked it. Brown down the lane. Brown rejected by the Sixers. Here comes the run out. George behind his back to BJ, and he slams it. Timeout Boston. What a game. Sixers 69. Boston 54. Are you kidding me? BJ Edgecombe slams it in.
Are you kidding me?
How great. That was a great call.
Phenomenal.
I mean, that is a phenomenal up and down the court right there. You know what? They're having fun. You know what I mean? A lot of times you look at some of these series and it almost looks grueling. I want you to look at the Celtics right now. How much of a series does it look like it's wearing them down? That's what it looks like the Celtics are doing. Celtics are shell-shocked right now. And all the pressure is on them in Boston, Game 7.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. All the pressure.
I hate Boston.
I know, we all do. We all do in this city, and it sounds like the Sixers do as well. But last night after the game, when you talk about how all that pressure is now shifted to Boston, Paul George, who, again, great game from Paul George last night. He's really played well over the last couple games. They asked him, what was the difference so far in this series? And you could hear it. The Sixers seem loose. They don't seem tight at all. Listen to Paul George.
Yeah, I just thought we played free. You know what I mean? It's really no pressure. We got to come out. We lose, we go home. So I thought we played with no pressure. We stuck to our identity. We're going to play hard. And, I thought we defended three-point line. We keep them from getting extra possessions. And, we got big fella. Big fella is there's nothing you can do with big fella.
So you hear Paul George, we're playing free, no pressure. I mean, you do have to believe right now the Celtics have to be tight. I mean, they were the favorites coming in to get out of the Eastern Conference. They had a 3-1 series lead. And not only have the Sixers won 2 games in a row, like you said, they look like clearly the better team right now.
They are the better team right now. This could just be a factor of Joel Embiid is healthy. Maxey has figured out how to play with Joel Embiid on the court. But I think you go down to your 4 and 5 players, the VJ Edgecombe and Kelly Oubre. Those guys are doing their jobs. You think about the one game where the Celtics had all that the point scoring off of the bench. You know what? Sometimes you need your 4 and 5 guys to be the guys that are really stepping up in games. They're playing really good, inspired defense everywhere. I love the fact that he's like, yeah, we're defending the 3-pointer, which is all the Celtics do. I mean, they get down the court, they'll fire it from pretty much anywhere. If they're not hitting their shots, they're up the creek without a paddle. And I think this whole series could be extremely impressive. If you go up to Boston, you beat them in a Game 7, you would have taken 3 games up in Boston. That, to me, is impressive. Very impressive, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, not easy to do. And
if I would have told you, yeah, they're going to a Game 7 because they've won 2 games in Boston, you would have told me I was out of my mind before this series started.
Well, I would have told you were out of your mind when you simply said Game 7. And then, when you add in the fact that they would have won 2 on the road, I would have thought you were really crazy. But listen, dude, I'm admitting that I was dead wrong about this team. But can you blame me? I mean, what we've been through with this Sixers team and how they looked on their home court in Game 4. How did anyone believe that this team could just find this second gear where they come out and play this inspired defensively? I mean, you remember Nick Nurse after Game 4, he was asked about changing things up schematically. Yeah. He said it's hard to evaluate the scheme when we're not playing with enough energy, we're not playing with enough determination. Well, that really flipped, and now you're seeing how hard these guys are playing. And you said it yesterday, Ricky, about Joel, and I think we had a caller talk about it, how it wasn't necessarily Joel who had to win the game for you last night. It was going to be the Celtics who would adjust to Joel, and it was going to be everybody else making their shots and being able to, when Joel's getting double-teamed, to get open and then hit the open shot. But even more than that, they didn't play that well offensively, the Sixers. Yeah, they made some shots, but it was what they did defensively. To hold the Celtics under 100 points, that's 2 games in a row now, isn't it? Under 100.
It was all defensively. The one thing about the Celtics is that when they shoot the threes, they're very hard to beat. I mean, I think you noticed that. The 3 games that they've won, go ahead, look at their 3-point shooting. It was really, really impressive. And the games that they've lost, it's kind of gone south. You just talked about it, 29%. They only made 12 threes in last night's game. That's edge Sixers right there. You keep them down from 3-point range, and that's what it seems like Nick Nurse has kind of done. That's the approach that he's had, is let's go after the 3-point shooters and put some pressure on them, make them shoot with a hand in the face, whatnot, and it's working. It's working right now because the Celtics aren't making anything. And when that happens, you have a very good chance to you know what, to beat the beast, because they're supposedly the beast. Knock them down. You've already chopped down half the tree. You might as well finish the job.
Yeah, and I would love to hear from Sixers fans today. Are you believing in this team? I mean, I do feel like we have been hurt so many times with the Sixers over the last decade, maybe even longer. I mean, going back to 2001, it feels like we've gotten our heart broken every single year. But something does look different to me. Like, it really does look different watching this team taking on the odds-on favorite in the Eastern Conference coming into the postseason, the Boston Celtics. And I think with all that pressure now shifting to Boston, and the Sixers are feeling good about themselves. They see, hey, if we play hard and we play strong defense and we guard beyond the arc and we do our jobs, we're going to dominate. These last 2 wins, they weren't just close. The Sixers dominated them in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter of Game 5. They absolutely dominated them. And, Ricky, we should have known. We had Chuck on yesterday. Charles Barkley joins the show yesterday, and he said it. Like, you're talking about how, hey, Boston lives and dies with the 3. Barkley told us yesterday, and they won't adjust. Listen to Charles Barkley from our yesterday show.
Well, the Celtics, they don't make any adjustments. They're just going to come out and jack up threes. And some games, you go back and look, even when they've been successful, even when they won a championship and the years in between, they just play one way. We just got to jack up threes. When they go in, they probably going to blow you out. But when they don't go in, they lose. So it doesn't matter how you win or lose a game. People want to say the Sixers, whatever. But the Celtics, man, to me, they're a very interesting team. They kind of go overboard with today's NBA. They just kind of keep shooting threes. They never, like sometimes, like, you know what, I'm making threes. Maybe I should drive to the basket, get a couple layups in, get a foul. Sometimes that will loosen a shooter up. Guys said it all the time. You know, when I'm not making a few, I'm going to go to the basket, get a layup. Basket going to look bigger. I might get a foul, make a couple free throws. That'll help me with my rhythm. But the Celtics make no adjustments. They just like, we're just going to shoot threes. When it works, it's beautiful. When they miss, it looks ugly.
All right, so that was Charles Barkley. He joined the show yesterday. If you missed it, you could check out the whole interview on YouTube. It was phenomenal. Not only did he talk Sixers, he talked Flyers. He talked about his relationship with Michael Jordan, that they've now become friends again. We talked some golf with him. So head on over to the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube page. Phenomenal stuff from Charles. But he's right, man. This team doesn't adjust, talking about the Celtics, and it does seem like the Sixers, whether it was Nick Nurse, whether it was just playing with more energy or a combination of the two, they were in their face yesterday. They weren't getting the open threes, and they only made, what'd you say, 12 threes yesterday?
12 out of 41.
You're going to win every single time against Boston when that happens.
Yeah, that's why we said we were kind of talking about when the Sixers have won in this series, did they beat the Celtics or did the Celtics beat themselves? Because when you're – but when I watched last night's game, I had a different look at it because they were guarding the three-pointer. They were kind of – getting hands in face, getting on the guys that were outside the arc. So to me, it seems like the Sixers are doing what they need to do, and Nick Nurse is out coaching the Celtics day in, day out now.
And Mazzulla's a good coach.
Mazzulla's a good coach. That has nothing to do with it. It just so happens that Nick Nurse is like, the heck with this. We're going to make them have contested threes. And if they're not making them, we know they can't win the game. You found out a formula. They found the formula, and the formula is, you know what? Contested threes, they'll miss them. We have better opportunities on the other end.
Yeah, now listen, I'm going to share this with the world here, and I feel like there's a lot of Sixers fans with me. I'm opening my heart right now. I'm Jeffrey Lurie. You got to open up your heart. I'm letting the Sixers back in. Like, I have been negative on the Sixers for weeks. Even when they took game 2 up in Boston. Was it game 2 in Boston? Yeah. I said, look, it's fool's gold. I'm not buying in. I'm allowing myself to get hurt again. And I'm making myself vulnerable to the 76ers. And I'm begging you, do not hurt me again. I don't think I could recover because I'm all in right now with this Sixers team. People may say, no, we don't want you on the bandwagon.
I don't think you should be on it.
I'm in.
Jump off. Just watch from the side.
But listen,
He's a jinx.
I am not a jinx.
Yes, you 100% are.
Listen, Johnny Mark says this on middays.
The only reason they won yesterday is because I told you to play the song, not because you played it.
There you go. So
I
when
was
you
the
tell
only
me,
one that said that they were going to win.
yeah, when you tell me, yeah, Silvana did predict it.
What are you talking about, Ricky?
But Johnny Mark says this on middays, and I agree with him. What we promise on these airwaves is to do genuine radio. We're not going to give you disingenuous opinions. We're not going to make stuff up just so you pick up the phone and call us. We don't do that on this station. So I was being genuine. Like, my true thoughts were I did not believe in this Sixers team. And I'm not just jumping on board now because I want to get the fans excited. Like, I legitimately watched Game 5 and Game 6, especially watching last night. And I'm like, man, like, this is what we were waiting for. This is what, in the offseason, coming into the season, when Ricky and I were saying, hey, the East is wide open if they could stay healthy. It's just they can never stay healthy, but somehow appendectomy, drug suspensions, put it all behind you now because here you are in a Game 7 against Boston with Joel, Paul George, VJ, Maxey, Oubre, Quentin Grimes. They're all available. They're all playing. They're all, quote unquote, healthy. Knock on wood, pray, do whatever you got to do. It feels real right now.
It is real. It definitely, I see where you're coming from, but this is why you have to watch playoffs as a fan. I mean, I know we are media, but you have to watch as a fan because your rooting interest is better that way. Obviously, every game they go in, you're rooting for the Sixers, you're rooting for the Flyers, the Phillies, whoever is in the playoffs. But if you watch it as a fan, you'll be a lot more satisfied.
Well, I want to hear from those fans today because are you believing now? And you may be someone who says, look, I never stopped believing. I'd love to hear from you as well. But there's 3 ways to get involved in the show. It's the same number across the board. You could send your texts and your voice memos to the Davis Honda text line, 610-632-0975, or pick up the phone and call. Same number. Would love to talk to Sixers fans today. Are you believing that the Sixers can shock the world and win Game 7? Now, I've already peeked ahead at the odds for Game 7, Ricky. Sixers at Boston tomorrow night.
Pick them.
Right now, what do you think the spread is?
Celtics 4.5.
Celtics 7.5.
I think that's too much, number one, and I think I'm not saying it yet.
That line surprises me, man.
I'll hold my pick.
That line surprises me. All right, well, here's what we got coming up because it is a do-or-die game tomorrow night. The last time your 76ers won a Game 7, 2001. The last time they eliminated Boston in the postseason, 1982. I wasn't even born yet. I've never seen the Sixers eliminate Boston in the postseason. Well, Joel Embiid was asked last night about that very thing. His answer is exactly the way every Philadelphia 76er fan feels. We'll play that for you coming up right after this. Unfiltered. We got you all afternoon right here on 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Just when you thought you nailed your perfect pan pizza combo, I'm throwing you a change-up. Papa John's has turned up the heat with new oven-toasted sandwiches. Check out this lineup. First up, the Chicken Bacon Ranch, all white meat grilled chicken, bacon, melted American cheese, diced tomatoes, and banana peppers. The Steak and Mushrooms, seasoned steak loaded with roasted mushrooms, melted cheese, topped with garlic truffle sauce. Or a new twist on the Philly cheesesteak with melted American topped with Pizza Ranch. Yeah, you heard me, Pizza Ranch. On your cheesesteak. It is a game changer. It gets better. Your choice, just $7.99 each or $6.99 each when you order 2 or more with Papa Pairings. Bundle with a Pepsi beverage and a bag of chips for just $9.49. That's awesome. Swing into your local Papa John's today. Order at papajohns.com or on the Papa John's app. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Unfiltered. Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Philadelphia Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back in the Unfiltered. It's going to be a busy weekend for sports fans in the city because tomorrow night you get Game 7, Sixers, Celtics, 7:30 tip-off. But then 30 minutes later, you got Flyers, Hurricanes, Game 1. They didn't really do us any favors tomorrow night. And, of course, you got the Phillies back in action. We'll talk about them a little bit later in the 3 o'clock hour because they might be back, Ricky Bo. Hold on, though. Hold on. We'll talk about it.
Hold on.
Hold the phones. All right, but let's talk about this Sixers game because I said right before the break, the last time the 76ers won a Game 7, you got to go back to June of 2001. The last time the 76ers eliminated the Boston Celtics in the postseason, you got to go back to before I was even born, 1982. So Joel Embiid was asked about that last night after the game, and he had the same answer I think every single one of us Sixers fans would have. Here's Joel.
44 years in this historic rivalry since the Sixers last eliminated the Celtics in a playoff series. How do you view this opportunity on Saturday to try to do that?
I mean, I've been playing these guys for so long. I'm tired of losing to them. So we have a chance to accomplish, something special. I mean, they're a great team. And you look at everything they have. That's a super team. So we just got to go in there with the mindset we've had for the last, 2 games. Last 2 wins, and, one play at a time. Tough environment, but we've been there. We won 2 games over there. So just keep doing what we've been doing, and we're coming from.
I'm tired of losing to these guys. I'm that way too, Joel. Ricky, aren't you tired of losing to the damn Boston Celtics?
I hate the Celtics. I think that's my answer. Everybody, you get tired of something, you better be tired of losing to a certain team. Can you imagine? Because this would be like not beating the Cowboys for a long period of time in a big situation.
Yeah, you're right. Could you imagine
that for a second? It would be like it was like the Mets when the Phillies couldn't beat the Mets a couple years ago.
Yeah, you're right. But it would be
all the same.
But it would be like
a sickening feeling.
It would be like 44 years of it.
Yep.
Like, could you imagine if the Eagles never beat the Cowboys in a postseason game for 44 years?
Everybody would be going off the hook.
Oh my God!
I mean, this is the Celtics. Obviously, they have a storied past. Screw the past. That's the way I look at this.
Yeah, well, 2 things are going to happen tomorrow night. Either we're going to be in absolute pandemonium, joy, every emotion you can imagine that's a positive emotion, and we finally did it. They beat the Celtics. Now the door's wide open in the East and all that. Or we're going to get our heart broken again. And I don't believe that I could handle another heartbreak from the Sixers. That's why I'm all in on the Sixers, and I think they have to win. They have to win tomorrow night. There's a lot of people who just feel like there's some sort of moral victory that they got to a 7th game. I can't get there. As impressed as that I have been, and they have impressed me. Joel coming back from injury. I thought they were dead to rights after Game 4. What they've done, I'm impressed, but I am nowhere near satisfied. I need the Game 7 victory, and I want to hear from Sixers fans today. Do you believe in this Sixers team? All right, 3 ways to get involved in the show. Send your texts and your voice memos for We Hear You to the Davis Honda text line, or pick up the phone and call. Same number for all 3, 610-632-0975. Before we get some fan reaction, Ricky Bo, it's also going to be the subject of our Twitter poll, and I am very curious where the masses are going to vote on if they believe in this Sixers team. Twitter poll always standing strong, thanks to Dr. Avi Donapel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. All right, Silvana, people believe it or not?
Do you believe in this Sixers team? Yes, this feels different, or not yet. Prove it tomorrow. 60% voting for not yet. Prove it tomorrow. 41%. Sorry, my bad. 59. 41% saying yes, this feels different now.
Man, wow. Oh man,
I'm a little shocked.
So am I.
I'm not.
Because of what I've seen. I know it's not an easy game you're going into. It's not an easy place to go and play. They were 30-11, the Celtics at home this year. You've already beaten them twice, though. So the aura has disappeared. There is no aura you're fighting in the game tomorrow night. I think the one thing you have to do, just keep punching them in the mouth. They don't like it, obviously. They seem very disinterested by the third quarter last night, again. I just feel like they're soft. The Celtics seem soft.
Hold on, I want to correct something. Apparently, according to our NBC Sports Philadelphia producer, the Eagles actually haven't beaten the Cowboys in the postseason since 1981. It just hasn't felt like that because the Eagles have had so much postseason success.
Cowboys are never there.
Yeah, it's just the Eagles have had so much postseason success, and the Sixers haven't. So that's why I think it's even magnified. Like, I don't even realize that they haven't beaten the Cowboys since 81 in the postseason. Yeah, because the Sixers.
Well, you don't even have to worry about them getting there.
Yeah, they'll choke once they do get there.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot of people are weighing in, though, on if they believe in this Sixers team or not. You can as well. All right, let's check. Before we go to the phone, Silvana, let's get a text in here. What's the Davis Honda text line saying about their belief in this Sixers team?
All right, Jeff the mailman. I was feeling the same way as Billy Baseball. I'm not going to lie, Boston always has our number, and we can never beat them, so I had no hope, especially after Game 4. But they reeled me back in. I believe now again. I have hope. Let's go Sixers.
Jeff, man, you and I, same feeling. I was out. I didn't want to be hurt. I didn't believe in them. And now here I am, little over 24 hours till Game 7, and I'm all back in, open up my heart to this team. Please don't break our hearts, because there's probably a lot of people who feel the exact way I do. But let's go to the phones, because Aaron from West Philly is fired up for Game 7. What's going on, Aaron?
Oh, man. What a game.
Yeah, it really was.
Who's the leader right here? And I've been rooting for this team ever since we lost the finals to Portland. That's how old I am. I'm born and raised in this city. I would never leave this city. I root for every team in this city. And to beat Boston is just like the Eagles beating the Cowboys. Do I believe? Oh, yes, I believe. I believe in this team no matter what. They break my heart. Okay, my heart will be broken for 2 weeks until the season starts again. I would never, ever turn my back on any team that I represent. Go Sixers, go Flyers, go Phillies, go Eagles. It's just Philadelphia all day.
I love it, Aaron. You're a diehard, man.
Champions.
You're a diehard. But let me ask you one question. What do the Sixers have to do tomorrow night to get the dub? What do they got to do?
This is what they got to do. I'm old school. Joel, leave the three alone. Leave the three alone. Nobody can stop you in the post. Get in the paint, and if they try to double, that's when you kick out. Cater can't stop you. Get him in foul trouble. How did we win our first championship with Moses? He stayed down low because that's how the game was played back then. Okay, we got space in there. If Joel dominates in that post, get those bigs in foul trouble, and even if Boston want to go small, they may think that it's going to make Joel work even harder on defense, but they got to work even harder on defense when they got to guard him in the post.
Yeah, I think Aaron's is spot on. Listen, I get frustrated at sometimes when people push back that Joel shouldn't be taking those threes or taking those shots from far out from under the rim, because he is pretty good at it. But I'm in agreement for this series right now. Joel can exploit when he's down low. Like that is a weak spot for the Boston Celtics.
Well, nobody could cover him.
No, they can't. And if they try to double team, that's when, you kick things out. You got guys who hopefully make their shots. Like this Celtics team has to be nervous right now. Like, they got to be nervous. I'm sure in Boston, like, I'm wondering if there's anybody, like any Celtics fans who are listening right now, as much as I would hate to hear from you, I kind of want to hear from you. Like, are Celtics fans confident?
No, they're hiding.
They got to be nervous,
They
right?
have to be in hiding right now. This would be a sheer embarrassment. Be up 3-1. You lose a game at home, you lose another one on the road, and then to lose another one back in Boston. That would be epic. I mean, like to me, that's kind of firing me up a little bit. To go into Boston and win Game 7 and see all those crybabies in the seats, it's going to be fabulous.
Yeah,
it really is.
All the heartbreak.
Get excited.
All the heartbreak that we've had over the years, I almost feel like it could be erased and forgiven by winning tomorrow night. Because it's so unexpected. Like, people didn't have high expectations necessarily coming into the season. You and I actually did, Ricky. We thought, oh, man, this team can do something. And then another Joel injury, and Paul George gets suspended, and you're thinking, oh, man, this team, here we go again. But now Joel's back and Paul George is back. And after game 4, this team just seems to be playing with energy and aggression, and they're free and they're loose and they're playing good defense. It's like, I'm starting to believe again. And that's what makes it so wonderful. Same thing with the Flyers. We've talked about this. Like, when you don't have expectations and now that team exceeds those expectations, it almost makes it that much sweeter. Because, like, when we watch our Eagles,
yep,
there's such high expectations all the time.
Because they're not an underdog.
Yeah, but it's hard to enjoy it sometimes because it's always like, you go back to their Super Bowl year. People were complaining about that team even into like week 15 and 16. We were so worried. Are they going to be able to do this in the postseason? Are they going to be able to win without throwing the ball? Are they going to be able to run themselves to a Super Bowl? Like, did you really? I mean, we enjoyed it. But during the ride, we were so nervous. I feel like with the Sixers and the Flyers now, because you had these low expectations, you're enjoying this ride more, aren't you?
I think the ride happens because, first and foremost, you're an underdog. Whenever you're an underdog going into a series, whether you're a fan or you're playing on that team, there's that little incentive that if you get a little bit of an edge somewhere, it could turn everything on a dime, and that's what's happened in this series. I mean, you really look at it, the Sixers were down and out in this series, and all of a sudden, they had the belief that they could come all the way back. They've done that, and they've even the series. This is a winner-take-all game. This has nothing. I don't think it will have a lot to do with home court advantage. The Sixers have proven that they could win there. This is one of those games where whatever team comes out a little flat could end up paying for the game immediately.
Yeah.
This is, but being on the underdog side makes everything more worthwhile. Think about the Flyers right now. How great is it? They're an underdog. They're an underdog again against Carolina.
Yeah, big underdogs.
And you look at the Sixers right now. Are they going to be favored in any series, even if they win this one? They're not going to be favored in the next series.
Well, let's talk about that coming up. That's a good point you're bringing up. Because as much as I want to just focus on Game 7, I want to just peek ahead a little bit based off of something Charles Barkley told us yesterday. If the Sixers can knock off the favorites in the East in the Boston Celtics tomorrow night, is there a path to the NBA Finals? And not only did Charles Barkley weigh in on that yesterday, Kendrick Perkins was on First Take earlier this morning, and he laid out what he thinks is going to happen in Game 7. Could the stars be aligning for one of the most unexpected finals runs in arguably franchise history for your 76ers? We'll get to that coming up next. Unfiltered. 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia. Happy Friday. A lot going on in the city. You got another series for the Phillies, 3-game set against the Marlins. You got Sixers Game 7 tomorrow night at 7:30. And if you missed the news, Flyers Game 1, same exact time as the Sixers. Well, there's about a half-hour buffer. Sixers at 7:30 tomorrow night. Flyers at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. They didn't do us any favors. But are you starting to believe, and maybe you never left, but do you believe that this Sixers team can actually do what we all thought was impossible and knock off the Celtics tomorrow night in Game 7? Now, I have come out and admitted that I was wrong. I had been hurt so many times by this team. I refused to believe. And I believed early. I mean, before the season started, I saw a path for this team to be able to compete in the Eastern Conference. But I started to stop believing when Paul George got suspended, and then Joel Embiid has the appendectomy, and you're dealing with all this. I'm thinking there's no way. And then I watched this team come out completely lifeless in Game 4 and get crushed on their home court. I said, I'm done. There's no way this team can win. And here I am now admitting I was wrong, because this team in Game 5 and Game 6 has blown me away with how hard they've played, how well they've played defensively. The energy, the emotion. This is exactly what you thought you could get from this team if Joel and Paul George were healthy, with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe and Kelly Oubre playing strong defense and Quentin Grimes being a nice piece off the bench. All these things that we hoped could happen are all aligning at the right time. I'm back. And I know people on the Davis Honda text line are saying they don't want me back, Silvana. What are people saying? They don't want me on the wagon?
You're a front runner.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want you back. Like earlier in the show, we had someone that said, you told us to tank. Someone did say that they were happy that you joined the bandwagon, but most are like, thanks for jinxing the Sixers, Bill. Much appreciated. We also have another texter saying to not come back onto the bandwagon. They're also calling you a donkey as well.
Oh, I wonder where they got that one,
yeah,
Ricky.
They said you're not allowed because days ago you were talking about firing Nurse and how you had no faith in the team.
Wait a minute. Let's go back to the tanking. Joel Embiid goes down with the appendectomy.
Yes.
And you said they should just tank.
Yes.
You said it right to my face. And I went, are you out of your mind?
I think I said it before that.
No, I think it was before the appendectomy. I believe it was when Paul George got suspended.
Yeah, no, it was around
that.
It was around the time where they weren't playing good basketball, and I was saying
They
that
were all out. Like Embiid was out.
And I did not want to see them.
You sound like a big baby.
Yeah, but you know what you sound like? A fanboy over there. Because if you're going to be honest with yourself, Ricky, you didn't believe in this team. Don't act like you've been on board the whole season.
I did not think they were going to get swept by the Celtics like some person I know.
Listen to me. Any fan out there right now.
What gives you the right to just jump right back on?
Because.
Should he have to jump
I never left, at least.
Listen, here's why I have the right to jump back on, and here's why every Sixers fan out there has the right to jump back on. This team hasn't got out of the second round since 2001.
And they still haven't. So why are you on the bandwagon?
Because I like the way they looked the last 2 nights. I've liked the way they've looked. But these Sixers have broken our hearts so much. Who the hell is going to be a gatekeeper for the 76ers saying, no, you don't have any right for not believing in this team.
Apparently,
you should have believed in them because this year was going to be different. Why? What would have led us to believe this year was going to be different?
I think
Apparently,
they're more
there's
mad.
a lot of people against you.
Yeah, I think they're more mad that not that you didn't believe, but that you told them to tank. I think that's the where they're getting mad at.
Yeah, I could see that.
At least you could see it.
I could see that. Well, here's where I am now, all right? Not only am I believing they could win Game 7, I'm actually seeing a path where they could get to the NBA Finals.
All right, let's not see what he goes from one extreme to the next in a week.
Well, here's why, all right? Charles Barkley yesterday on the show. When we asked him about the Eastern Conference, he said what you and I were saying, Ricky, before this season started, that the Sixers could make noise because the East was wide open. And now you're playing the Celtics, who are the odds-on favorite to get out of the East, and you could knock them off? Here was Barkley yesterday.
Well, the East is up for grabs, 100%. Everybody picked the Celtics. I picked the Cavaliers, but, man, they have no competitive fire, drive, no leadership. They just play basketball. And you guys know, man, if you don't have a guy like, no, that's unacceptable. Somebody has to drive the bus and the team. I thought the Cavaliers had the best chance to win in the East. Everybody else picked the Celtics. But I'll be honest with you, man, it's up for grabs. I mean, it really is up for grabs in the East this year.
So that was Barkley on our show yesterday. Now, the Celtics right now, according to Vegas, still have the best odds to get out of the Eastern Conference. If the Sixers win tomorrow night's game, and all they got to do is play the way they did in Game 5 and 6. I mean, you play that style of defense again, you're moving on, and then you would take on the Knicks. The Cavs right now have the second best odds, and right behind them is the New York Knicks. But I have to believe if this Sixers team can beat Boston, there is no team in the Eastern Conference where you would say they couldn't win, assuming they would stay healthy. And we've seen that happen time and time again. So knock on wood, say your prayers, whatever you got to do. But if this team wins one basketball game tomorrow, it's not that far-fetched to think, oh, my God, they could go on a run.
Well, welcome, Bill.
Oh, stop it.
No, seriously. In all reality, you didn't think they had a shot in hell.
Either did you. How are you sitting here with a straight face right now, acting like you saw this coming, Ricky Blostradamus?
I did not say I saw this. They didn't win anything yet.
You're right. They did not win anything.
But I have been rooting for them every game. It's not like I sit there and say, well, why bother watching this? They're not going to win. Or, you know what? They should have tanked. Maybe they should have tanked.
Yeah, I'll probably
and now
never
they're
live
going
that
to a
one
Game
down.
7.
I'll probably never live that one down.
Well, yeah, the tank thing, that was, even at the time, I thought it was very, very premature what you were doing.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't a good one. But all right, so they do have to win this game first before we even look ahead. And I'm watching First Take this morning, and Kendrick Perkins on with Stephen A. And Perkins laid out what he thinks is going to happen tomorrow night, and I think I agree with him. Listen to Perkins.
I believe that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to upset the Boston Celtics and advance to the semifinals to play the New York Knicks. Joe Mazzulla is stuck in his ways when it comes to his offensive system. He's going to continue to shoot a lot of threes, but it's the defensive side of the basketball that concerns me. One, they have no answer for Tyrese Maxey. He has been doing whatever he wants, has been the ultimate floor general. And all of a sudden, Joel Embiid comes back unexpectedly. No one expected that. Okay, he looked horrible, in my opinion, and still had like 20-plus points in Game 3. But what he did in Game 4 and 5 and 6, I'm sitting up here saying to myself, well, damn. And he exposing the weakness of the Celtics.
Get excited.
Look, I don't always agree with Kendrick Perkins, but I'm agreeing with him here. I don't think Mazzulla is able to adjust to this team. Barkley told us the same thing. Yeah, Barkley told us the same thing yesterday. They don't adjust. And now when you have Joel playing the way he's playing with all the supporting cast now, and they're not even supporting cast. You're talking about stars and Maxey and Paul George and VJ. Yeah, I'm back on. I'm back on.
I think Mazzulla is just keep firing away. They're going to go in. Keep firing away. They're going to go in. And if they don't go in, you're going home. I think it's that simple for them. I don't see. Have you seen any in-game adjustments made by the Celtics?
No.
At all?
Nope.
No.
They live and die on the three ball, man.
Nick Nurse, greatest coach in the history of the NBA.
Whoo, man, I'll have to apologize to Nick Nurse if they pull this out.
Oh, yeah, you will.
I have to apologize to him, Daryl Morey, everybody, fans. But I do want to hear from Sixers fans. I see a lot of people on the line. I know the text line's going nuts, too. Send your voice memos in for We Hear You to the Davis Honda text line. We've been doing We Hear You twice a show, which I think's working out really well. So send in your voice memos, 610-632-0975. Apparently, we got a lot of memos already, so keep them coming in. Do you believe in this 76ers team? We'll continue the Sixers conversation. We'll get some of the fan reaction on the phone's text line coming up next. But I also want to get into the Philadelphia Phillies with Ricky, because are they back, or do they just play a pretty bad team in the San Francisco Giants? We'll get to that coming up next. And remember, 3 o'clock, $1,000 cash giveaway. Do not go anywhere. Unfiltered continues. 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports Philadelphia.